I really appreciate the fact that Micka's Beauty Shop, which is, by the way, a European indie brand, doesn't come out with a million launches. They seem to kind of give it a piece of time between each of their launches, which I think is very, very smart. The last thing I bought from them was actually their Serpentine palette, which was a collaboration between them and Mars's Makeup. It was absolutely fantastic. And this is their new one. It's called Earth Wizard. And I gotta say, a massive, massive thank you to Makeup on Your Radar. I stole their pictures. Lock me right up. But a massive thank you to them. I hugely appreciate it. Let's talk about this one. So they were doing the standard indie brand thing of kind of going, ooh, something is coming, and showing us things in black and white. But now we know what it is. And here's the thing. It's a palette that has no shade names. Which, honest to God, I'm like, how does that work? But hey, kudos, if you have an idea, you have an idea. It's £15, there's 10 mattes, and there's 5 multi-chromes. So the palette itself is launching on the 15th of December at 6 p.m. CET. Now it is a pre-order, so keep that in mind. There's an awful lot of indie brands that are doing pre-orders these days. I don't know why, but it is a thing. Anyways, you're going to have to be patient because it will take between a month and 2 weeks to actually get to you. So keep that in mind. The palette itself is retailing for €55. And can I just say, I love that down below, like when they revealed this, they said, please let me know if our new palette has met your expectations. I'm really up for brands that actually try to open themselves up to a bit of critique. I think that's fantastic. Really love the outside of that cover. I think it's super, super cute. And they have actually provided swatches of this, which I think is really, really helpful because it is primarily a matte palette, but they have some interesting multi-chromes. I do think they need to kind of show this across a couple of different lights so that we can see the multi-chrome element that little bit better, just my opinion. Now, I will say, as much as I like the brand and I enjoy the quality of their products, and I have one palette from them. It's the Serpentine palette, which was a collaboration between them and Marta's Makeup. This just doesn't do it for me. And the reason is that there's kind of some shades here that are definitely not quite duping, but they're a little bit too close to each other. And without kind of like blending out shades, this doesn't make a huge amount of sense to me. Like those two blues, I get that one is much more bright and then one is much more kind of like, I guess, a primary color blue. I don't really know how else to describe it. And then one purple is more cool toned and one is much more warm. I just feel like they're a little bit too similar, but also not similar either. It's really strange. Like if they had been like a shade or two or several shades lighter or whatever, I think it would have made a little bit more sense. Like even those two browns being similar, the greens, but even the greens aren't similar to each other either, but they can't really work together, if that makes sense. Like I couldn't put those two blues together. I wouldn't put those two purples together either. It just doesn't make a huge amount of sense to me in terms of how they're put together. All that being said, I just don't feel like this is a palette necessarily for me. I do enjoy the brand. I think they're very, very good. I just feel like this palette just isn't quite cohesive enough for me. I can't really figure out how all the colours go together. I do appreciate though that they are trying to do something a little bit different. It just doesn't kind of appeal to my taste, and that's totally fine. Somebody else is going to love it. It just isn't for me. And then there's going to be something that I love that somebody else doesn't love, and that's fine. This is how business goes. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Do you love this? Are you going to pick this up in the pre-order, or are you going to maybe wait and see some reviews, check out what people think? Let me know. I'm nosy.